There's some news about Naughty Dog's multiplayer project. I'll link the article. Let's go through it, and then we'll talk about why I don't think that this is great news. It's sort of a glass half empty situation. So it says Naughty Dog has been working on a multiplayer project for some time, which many of us presume to be factions. The last we heard anything about this project was just that they were hiring for a monetization designer. If that isn't another word for the devil, I don't know what is. Multiplayer efforts in the past have worked out quite well for Naughty Dog, so it would be rather surprising if this new version of Factions failed to at least capture what made the first one good. Although, since the idea of a full standalone multiplayer game is still new to them, it's not surprising that they'd look to the big players in the space to see what works for them. That was the case for Anthony Newman, game director at Naughty Dog, who is currently working on the multiplayer project. In a blog post about what the developers of Naughty Dog played over the year, Newman explains how his eyes opened to Fortnite after trying it himself. He says, quote, "When I first started working on this multiplayer project, I had a very superficial opinion of Fortnite as something that was a mere toy for tweens, a passing fad that was only popular because of Drake. How wrong I was. Fortnite is truly inspiring, not just as a multiplayer game, but as a game period. Epic takes incredible creative risks for every season, coming up with new ways to totally transform the game, and they seem anything but short of new ideas. I've been especially impressed with the interactive concert events. They created a multiplayer, interactive, limited time musical event. Doesn't get much more innovative than that. Now, if only I could learn to build." I find it interesting that his initial reaction to Fortnite was one that many people have. And again, it's not that Fortnite is this great game, but once anybody looks at the success and the money, all of a sudden it becomes a innovative, great experience. The problem with that is that if you're going to copy something like Fortnite, or even try and create your own version of Fortnite, gamers are going to see through that. Fortnite is the exception. It is not the rule. It's very difficult to create a brand new experience from the ground up and have it be as impactful and as almost like a social phenomenon like Fortnite. I think Microsoft recognized that. I think they wanted something like that, which is why they spent $1 gazillion to give themselves essentially their own Fortnite in Minecraft. Now, they're different types of games, but in terms of social phenomenons, Minecraft is definitely up there with Fortnite. Now, for Sony and Naughty Dog, obviously the quality is something that you can say would be there. Technically, I don't think they'll have a problem creating something that's good looking and grabs your attention. But in terms of just copying and pasting things and talking about concert events, I'm not sure that this is the biggest and the best way for them to go forward with creating a multiplayer project. I'm not really sold on the idea that all of a sudden Fortnite is this great game, according to this multiplayer director, after having said that it was something that really didn't interest him. Now, you might say that these are early days and he's just sort of musing around what is interesting to him and looking at multiplayer games, trying to find ideas for the project. But out of all the multiplayer games he could have mentioned, he mentioned Fortnite, and he is currently the only person who is working on the multiplayer project. He is in charge of it. Obviously, there are more people working on it than him, but his voice is the most influential in terms of what will be created for Sony's next exclusive multiplayer project. And here's where I usually never really trust or read a lot of video game quote-unquote journalist or journalism. The end of this article says, quote, "Now it should be clear that just because he called Fortnite inspiring doesn't mean you can expect direct elements from it to be in this new multiplayer project, but it is at the very least interesting to hear where developers get their inspiration from." So let's unpack that for a minute. Just because he called Fortnite inspiring doesn't mean you can expect direct elements from it to be in this new multiplayer project. Well, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't expect it either. This is a person writing an article. They didn't speak to this person. They have no idea what's going on behind the scenes in terms of development. So to make that leap is interesting, and I think it belies the fact that most people are a little tentative when it comes to hearing that Fortnite is an inspiration internally for what Naughty Dog is doing in terms of their multiplayer project. Now, I am not trying to say that things are going to turn out poorly. Multiplayer is something that's very tricky, especially an exclusive multiplayer game, and everyone wants that big game to hit. They want that Fortnite, they want that Minecraft, they want that Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I can go on and on. What I am saying is I am cautiously optimistic. I'm not really into multiplayer, but I know Naughty Dog, in terms of just graphical quality, they're going to do something that looks absolutely phenomenal. But in terms of creating something that stands out among the really big multiplayer-centric games like the aforementioned Fortnite would be extremely difficult. And I want them to obviously look to those games for inspiration, but the one game that this person mentioned out of all the other games was Fortnite, and they talked about concert events, which is something that doesn't really sound like a multiplayer-centric game, and it certainly doesn't sound like something that's going to be big if they in fact copy these elements from Fortnite. So the glass is most certainly not half empty, but I don't think it's overflowing either with excitement around this announcement. Now, a lot needs to be learned and a lot needs to be seen in terms of what they're doing, but I'm not going to just jump to conclusions and think that this is going to be an absolute hit. But of all the studios that Sony has, I think Naughty Dog is the best choice to create something brand new in the multiplayer space. Let me know what you think about this article. Let me know what you think about them mentioning Fortnite as an inspiration. Do you think it's a good game to look at for inspiration? Do you think it's a bad game to look at for inspiration? Think about subscribing to the channel, share this video out, and hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.